Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Throwback Thursday. And we are in the Great Punch Breakout. So my goal is to use punches in all of my layouts this month, and it's actually proving to be difficult. I don't use them a lot. So I have had to do a little bit of going back through and trying to find things. And I had the perfect pictures, perfect paper, perfect punch all laid out. And then I saw the sneak peek for Monday. And when I saw the sneak peek, I was like, this paper is perfect. I really need to use this for these pictures. And so because of that, I have now changed my entire plan and I went and pulled different pictures and different paper. I'm still going to try and do the same plan that I had before, but I may have to change it up just a little bit depending on what things are looking like as we're going through. So the pictures that I've pulled are just a bunch of pictures that James and Olivia took when they went to Morocco. And I don't know if you guys can see these pictures, but the tile is exquisite there. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the streets. It's everywhere. And we don't really have anything like that. And then I remembered vintage chic. So this is the paper that I have pulled that we are going to use for this layout. And it is a quick and easy Throwback Thursday. Remember, the whole goal of Throwback Thursday is for quick and easy layouts. So that is what we are going to do. The original layout calls for 2 sheets of paper, but we may have to pull in a third dependent upon what I think once I get my pictures all laid out. So I am going to go ahead, and the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to punch one side of this paper. I'm just going to slide a piece underneath just to catch all the garbage so it doesn't go all over my desk. And I'm literally just going to punch right across, lining up my punch. All right, so I've done that with my orange paper, and now I need to do that with one side of my brown paper. I really loved the punch that I had originally selected, but I felt like this punch had more of an architectural feel, which for me goes a little bit more with Morocco. Not that I've been to Morocco, but just goes with that a little bit more. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my mat, which is right here. And I am going to paper weld on here. I'm not even going to paper weld. I'm just going to use this is just a garbage piece of paper because we're going to end up covering the entire thing. But here's my thought of what we're going to do. And I'm going to cut a piece of this. Just want to show you what I am thinking. This is just a really fun way that you can layer your punch designs. So it will look like this. And I think that looks really cool. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this one at 1.5. So I just lined the furthest most piece at the 1.5-inch mark. And then this one, I want to center it. So I'm going to just trim off just a little bit, just so I can get close. I'm trying to get these in the center is what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to adhere, and I'm just doing the base of this so that I can slide this under. I'm going to adhere this on the edge. So it goes out to 1.5, and then I'm going to slide this piece under here like this. So I can get it lined up. Exactly where I want it. I probably could have made that just a little bit bigger of a piece, but you won't be able to really tell because of the coloring of it. And then I'm going to do the last piece. I have it lined up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off that extra piece, which is going to be about 1.5. All right, so this will be my left-hand side of my paper, and I'm going to put these across like so. But the problem when you have a layout like this is that nothing is grounding this. So I love how all this is looking. I really think this needs to go over just a little bit more, to be honest. You know what? I'm going to cut a little bit bigger of a piece just because I want it to be lined up a little bit better. I just want it to be lined up a tad bit better. So I'm going to slide this in like that better. And we're going to go ahead and slide this in. Just trying to get it straight is what's happening here. My lines were not straight, so it was bothering me a little bit, which is unusual. You guys know for me, I'm not normally a straight girl, but that one was really kind of hard. So there we go. That's better. All right. I like that better. That's lined up better. So this goes like this. Now, the problem with a layout like this is that we have nothing grounding this. So my pictures are kind of floating all over. First thing that I'm going to do is I am going to add matte to all of my pictures. And so I liked this blue and I wanted to pull in this blue. And I am going to go ahead and I am going to do the magic matte and I'm going to cut 4.5. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to do 4.25 by 6.25. So I'm cutting at 6.25 and then I'm going to get 4.25. 2, and I need one more. We're going to go ahead and mat these. So already it's going to bring, you can tell, it's already separating it from my background. So it's already giving it more dimension, making my pictures the heroes. That's always our goal when we're working on our layouts for me. Right, and then I have this last one. I'm not going to adhere this one down because I don't know if I want to keep it as blue or if I want to bring in another color potentially. I could make it orange maybe. I'm not sure. All right, so that's better, but it's still not grounded. So I found this paper, which I liked a lot. And I'm just going to show you, if I fold this over and just run it across, it gives it a little bit of an extra pizzazz to the page and it grounds my photos so they're not just floating out in Never Never Land. The problem that I have is this is the only paper that I have left of this. And so because of that, I'm going to have to do a little tiny bit of paper welding to try and make this because I really want it to go all the way across. And I was thinking if I did design on the back, that would be cool. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. And we're going to start by cutting this at about 4.5. You know what? I'm going to go a little bit thinner. I'm going to do this at 4. I'm going to do it at 4. I like that better. It's not quite as chunky. And then I'm going to put it into my punch and I'm going to go ahead and punch. Didn't get my little chest piece under there. Luckily, most of that was on the picture. The punch poop on this is lots of itty bitty tiny little polka dots, which get all over the place, right? So this is kind of what I'm thinking. This could just go right here along the edge, which I think is cool. And then we'll add our pictures here. And then my last picture under here. Right? Might have to trim that one down just a little bit. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe I should have kept it thicker. What do you guys think? This back here just to test it. What do you think? I like it. I like it very much. What do you think? What do you think, huh? I could go off-centered. So off-centered, I just don't like it quite as much. I really like it one right next to each other. And I'll tell you what else. This is very similar, so I'm gonna pop it with some ink. And I think once I pop it with some ink, that's really gonna help. My only question is I don't think I'm loving the blue. So we could go with a lighter one. Let's see what other. This is always a good chance when you don't know what kind of color you could matte something with. If you look at your matte cards, a lot of times that can give you an idea. So here's purple, which I don't think I want to pull in another color. So I don't think purple is going to work for me. What about orange? Maybe some orange, brown. Brown, brown, brown. Here's a different purple. I don't hate the purple because we have purple in this picture, but it's really, if I'm gonna bring in more purple like this, which I actually don't hate it, I kind of like it. But if I am going to do that, then I'm going to need to pull purple into some embellishments and other places on this page. So I'm not really sure about that one. Here's the blue again, just I think it's too much blue. Let's try this orange. What do you think of the orange? What do you think? So I'm not really sure about it. So because I'm not sure about it, I'm going to just give it a minute and let it just sit there. I am going to bring this across and I am going to paper weld that last little tiny bit so that it goes all the way, extends all the way across. But I don't want to do that until I punch this last piece to see what I have remaining, how much I have left. So for right now, we're just going to slide this here so you kind of get the idea. And now I'm going to pull in my other page. Now here's where I may change this up. So originally what I was thinking is we have remaining this orange piece and then somewhere around we have that 1-inch brown piece also, which I apparently have. Here it is. We have this extra piece. So what I was originally thinking in the layout is that we could just punch these edges and do them on this side, right? That way you're really not using a lot of paper. You're only using 3 pieces of paper and then whatever you use to mask. So I kind of liked the idea of doing that. So it would look like trying to pull in all of the things without punching just so you get an idea. One of my girlfriends is like, you need a side table that you can throw all your stuff on. With this huge desk, you would think that I would not need a side table, but All right, so it would look like this. And then we would still have our side piece. Now remember, I'm going to punch the design so it looks the same. But then we still have this piece that will go here. And then I have these pictures that would go across. And then I have these two little ones down here. So this is what it would look like. If I do it this way, I really don't mind the orange because the orange comes back up here. And then it wouldn't bring in another color that I have to contend with in my embellishments. So I kind of like that a little bit. But I wasn't sure. So because I wasn't sure, the other possibility is, and the reason I wasn't sure is I didn't know if maybe I should keep the brown in the center like this. And then I don't have an orange piece, but pretend like I just had this little orange piece right here on the end. Then this stays in the middle. And then our pictures. Hide this so you kind of get an idea of what I mean. Or do I leave it like this? The advantage to leaving it this way is it the orange and the dollops are pointing your way in to the layout. My only concern is it too blah? Is it too blah in the middle? Now we can add embellishments, right? That will liven it up. What do you think? Which way do you like it better? Let's put our mats behind here. Part of our mats behind here. I'll have to find another piece. I'll have quite enough, but you can get a better idea. So you have the blue that goes all the way across. Then what do I do? Orange again on the bottom? This is where I'm just playing. I am auditioning my paper before I cut it all up to just try and decide how I like it best. I don't know, you guys. I kind of like the orange. I kind of like the orange. I just think it makes it a little tiny bit more interesting. What do we think? What do we think? I'm looking at my screen. I don't know why it always goes crooked, but I'm looking at my screen up there to just kind of get a feel and see what I think. All right, we're gonna try it one more time, and then we have to make a decision. We're gonna try it one more time, and then we're gonna go with whatever decision. All right, well, you know what? I may not tell you. You may have to just wait and see what I decide about this. This is just our quick, easy layout. What we've done is I've just pointed two different punches, two different borders, and I have them pointed towards one another on our layout. So it's just a fun way to add another decorative element onto your page, which I really love. And I think this Dollop Punch is going to be perfect for Morocco. So that is where I am starting from on this particular layout. So Dollop Arch frame, check back tomorrow. I will have it finished tomorrow and we'll see where we go. All right, now I want to bring in, so I'm basically wanting to teach you a couple different techniques with the different punches. So, last week we took a punch and we changed it from what it originally was into something completely different. Tonight, I took the punch and I punched it in two columns and I had them facing one another to give it an interesting look. So Another thing that you can do is you can take your punch and you can cut it up into different pieces to put on your layout. And I want to show you an example of what I mean. So you all know that I have been working on my album rescue project. And I am really, this is the second half of the year. You guys know that I already completed the first half, that I had to divide my album into two because there was just too much going on. So I was looking on here and I really don't have a lot to do. And a lot of this is journaling on my pages, putting on my cover quotes, stuff like that. But I did have a couple empty pages. So I was flipping through here, going through my album, and I have this page. And this is a very much a statement page. And I don't have a lot really to go with this page. And so I had one envelope left, and it literally has two photos. That's all it has on here. And then I have just a few little squares left in my envelope. There's not very many. And I have one monkey left. So I don't really want to do this entire layout again over here on this side. So what can I do? Well, I know for certain that I can pull in some papers to mat the photos. So the first thing I would do is I'm not going to want to use white because that's just too much. So I will pull a cream piece of cardstock, and then I have the colors that I used that I can cut down mats. And I probably won't cut them down. I will probably do one big mat like this and just trim it like this down. And then I have some of these squares, so I could just add a couple squares because I'm trying to tie it in over here. So I could just pick a couple out. Now remember, this will be cream once I cut this down. Maybe, I wish I had a stripe, but I don't have, oh, I do. Look, I have a stripe. So I might do something like this on this side, right? But once you do that, there's still going to be a lot of empty space of white all the way around. And I need to pull it back to this side. So I will, of course, put a title on here. And I already knew my title from a long time ago. I wrote it down. I'm going to say 2 silly monkeys. And then over here, it's going to say jumping on the bed because here they're jumping on the bed. So I'll have 2 silly monkeys here. But it's still going to leave, let's pretend this is all cut down and it's matted. But you'll be able to see that it's still going to leave a lot of white space around. So I went looking to see what could I use to potentially help dress this up. I don't have a lot of embellishments. The paper was really the embellishment on here. Well, I found my bamboo punch and I thought, oh, I could kind of make a little bit of a rainforest. So I started playing around and I started cutting little bits, right? So how I do this is you punch it one time with the brown, and then I came back and punched it a second time with the green, and then I cut the green and put the green on the brown to give it that little bit of a look. And then I can kind of tuck this in. Right? And then I could add my monkey down here. So it won't be identical to the second page, right? But I don't really want a mirror image. This is so busy and I only have the 2 photos and I really don't have enough squares. And this is all the paper that I have that I can't do a mirror. But by just bringing in a little punch and making a scene on my page, it'll make it a little bit busier. I'll add my title. I'll probably put some more bamboo over here. And to be honest, I may tuck a little bit of bamboo over here just to bring 1, 2, 3 across. And that page will be done and it'll be tied in. And it's just an easy way that you can coordinate your 2 pages. So I wanted to show you this example because it's such a great way of using punches that maybe we don't think about, is how do we add a punch to our clusters, to our pages, to try and drive the interest all the way across. So even though they're not the identical photos, they were in their jammies, they were playing, but they're not exactly the same, it'll still tie my page together and it'll look naturally, even though I did this page, I don't even know, 10 years ago, maybe. It was a while ago when I did this page. So just another idea to use with your punches. Okay, you guys, that is what I have today for Throwback Thursday. I am going to work on these two layouts and I will post the finished product tomorrow. I will also post the sketch with the measurements on how to do that dollop sketch. I just didn't have a chance to get that finished. And I think that's it. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and I will talk to y'all later. All right. Thank you. Have a great week. Bye.